I want to show you some of the features of Impero EdPro monitoring software. This is a piece of software that allows us to see what the students are doing in real time. It helps teachers to monitor students' online activities, and it increases classroom management capabilities. Since we're one-to-one now and have more online learning than ever, it's an incredibly useful tool and can help us increase our capacity for more interactive and successful instruction. I'm going to show you what the teacher side looks like as well as what the students see. So let's get to it. To get to the Impero website, I'm going to use us1.edpro.cloud. I'm going to log in using my school district account. I'm going to come to menu and go to classroom. And here you'll see all of the classes that you have access to. The class that I want to use right now is called Trial, and I'm going to go to Classroom. All right, here's my class. This is all of the students that are in my classroom right now. You notice the green bar? That tells me that student is online. The empty bar says that student is offline. To select a student, use the box beside that student's name. You'll notice that when you click the box, a window opens that shows all of that student's active tabs over here on the right. If I'm looking and I notice that my student is on YouTube and I really need that student to be working, I can click that tab and I get a choice. I can focus or I can close. Focus will bring that tab to the front. Close will close that tab on my student's computer. Watch. It's gone, just like that. I want to call attention to this right here. This is the allowed list and the blocked list. My allowed list means these are the only sites that students are allowed to use. So I want my students to only be able to use IXL. So I'm going to put in IXL and I'm going to hit enter. So then you'll notice on my student computer, I want to go to YouTube again because, well, my teacher closed it and I'm mad about it. So it looks like it's going to let me go to YouTube, but watch what happens. Once the server catches up, it actually blocks that site. And there we go. That student cannot get to YouTube, but I want to go to IXL because that's what my teacher told me to do. I can go to IXL. I want to clear my allowed list because that's the only websites students are allowed to go to. Let's look at blocked list. Well, again, I know YouTube is an issue. So I'm going to type in YouTube and come to my student computer, and I want to try to get back on YouTube. Looks like it's going to YouTube. It thinks it's going to go to YouTube, but watch what happens when the server catches up. Blocked. The student cannot get to that website. I want my students to use the Common Lit website. So I'm going to come here and type in Common Lit. Launch website. Look what happens on my student computer. It immediately takes me to the Common Lit site. Also, down here at the bottom, if there's a student that I want to send a message to, I can select that student and tell them, hey, get busy. It shows up in the middle of that student's screen, so they cannot ignore it. I also have the option of disable internet and lock screen. This only applies to the students that I've selected. So if I want to disable the internet on this student's screen, select their name, flip the switch. This symbol shows the Wi-Fi symbol with it disabled, and my switch is green. So when I come over here to my student computer, I can't do anything. My internet is turned off. This would be useful if you have students that are easily distracted during a lesson. All right, I'm going to flip the switch, turn the internet back on for that student. I can also lock screens. The lock appears under that student's name, and if you notice on my student computer, there's nothing I can do on that screen. It is locked. That student has no control over their computer at all anymore. I'm going to flip the switch to turn that screen back on, give the student control again. Now, I also can broadcast. I can't choose which students to broadcast to. This applies to everyone. But when I flip the switch to broadcast, I get an option of what do I want to share with my students. I want to share this screen with my students and watch what happens on my student screen. What I've selected goes to my student screen. They have no more control over what they do. They're only seeing what I allow them to see or what's on my screen. This would be very useful for sharing notes and maybe for working math problems. So to give the student back control, I'm going to turn that off, and the student resumes control of their computer. Now, this is the live view button. This is the button that everybody raves about. So click this button and we go into live view. This shows what the active screens of my class looks like. You'll only have 9 screens that you can see at a time. If I want to look at my student screen, I click on their screen and this shows me all of their active tabs. Again, I have the choice to focus or to close, and that will instantly close that tab. Notice how that screen changed on both mine and my student computer. I can also make it full screen where I can see a bigger view of what that student is doing. I can also share control. This doesn't give me complete control, it lets me share control with the student. This may be useful if a student is struggling maybe on a website, on code.org or something like that. You can share control of the student's computer to help them figure out what to do. Close this. I also have the option of pinning. If I pin a student, that puts them at the top of the list. That way I can keep an eye on them. This would be useful for students that I know have a tendency to roam, to get on websites, or to be easily distracted. I can pin those students where they're always at the front where I can see them better. So close out, and I'm back to my main menu. This has been a very general run through of what Impero can do. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas, hopes, fears, dreams, just let me know and we'll figure it out together.